rescues.
We found them in the Kellogg factory.
This looks insane, sticking your hand right inside of a bald eagle's mouth. The Salthaven is a wildlife rehabilitation education center that our effort is twofold, and one in educating people to the plight of Canadian wildlife, and also rehabilitating those wild animals that need help. I guess about 75% of the animals that we see here are baby birds in the springtime. Baby ducks, geese, songbirds, but we also see birds of prey. Baby possums, this is about the time of year they come in. We'll get loons, sometimes baby beaver that come in the spring at this time as well. So it's really a broad spectrum of animals that we work with here. I'm a hairy looking mom.
At first, you're thinking this is going to be a lot of work because sometimes they have to be fed every 2 hours, like the fawns that we have. Sometimes they're fed every 20 minutes, like baby sparrows, and you know it's going to be a lot of work, but it's all part of the work that we do here, and it's just the ending, releasing them back, is always the best part. Why we do it all.
Come on. Babies, just in general, they have a faster metabolism than the average adult. So if you miss like even 2 feedings, that can be bad. Like especially in the case of baby birds who just need to be fed every 20 minutes. Like they could be lacking the nutrients they need to develop their skeleton properly, to develop feathers, and so you really got to be on the ball with them.
Every baby animal, usually when they come in, skunks included, we have to stimulate them if their eyes are closed because they can't defecate or urinate on their own. And so that's still part of our daily routine with these guys. Every time before we feed them, we make sure that they go to the washroom so that we're not causing any bloat or any problems that way. Usually animals get 5% of their body weight, depending on the mammal. Some might get 10, skunks we're giving 4, just because we don't want to risk any bloat or any problems in their gastrointestinal tract that way.
It's busy, just busy. I mean, you're up all night in some cases. Some animals that are in real trouble, they need fluids every couple of hours. So it's a busy. Had I known it was going to be this, I probably would have never started this.
120.
120 mil.
For fawns especially, they can be very skittish or very stressed, and stress can be a big killer for fawns, especially any animal that comes to a rehab center. But especially with the fawns that we have right now, the 3, they were really stressed when they came to us. Either they've been in a car for 2 hours traveling to us, or they've been with the family for a few days being fed. So when they come to us, we have to make sure they trust us in a way so we can stimulate them and feed them enough and then put them back in the crate. But I know it's hard, but they're super cute, but you can't hold them and cuddle them all day, which is what can happen if someone has a fawn for too long and they habituate with humans. And then when we have to release them, they'll just stay beside us, and that's not what we want. And it's mean, but we don't really want to push them away and be too harsh on them, but that's why you have to love them but not love them too much.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be really, really hard because I'm going to have to start being mean to him. And I hate doing that. I'm so bad at breaking the trust, I guess. There we go. Because when you release the animal, you don't want to do it halfway. You want to make sure that they have the skills and they have the ability to survive. So if I was to release a fawn that was totally habituated to humans, then we haven't done our job.
It's hard. I know it'll be hard for the fawns because we're going to have them for many months, probably at least a couple more. So being with them 5 times a day, feeding them, cleaning them, they're so cute. You just want to like cuddle them, but when we have to release them, that's probably going to be the hardest.
Yeah, this is a little groundhog that came to us about a week ago now. So this little guy was found on his own, too young to be on his own, covered in ticks. He was anemic. cold, not doing very well at all. So we've taken him in, we took all the ticks off him, we've got him on antibiotics. He had some infection from the ticks, and we've been feeding him a formula just to get him on his feet. He's doing a lot better. So darn cute. It's gaining weight nicely. And with little guys like this, you know, they're being hand-fed, so they develop a natural dependency on people. And so we have to put them in pre-release cages for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks until they can wild up. There you go, fat little belly. Just wipe your face there. You gotta wipe the formula off their face really, really well. Otherwise, what happens is it dries, and it actually, when it dries, it'll pull their fur right out of the follicles. And so you got just make sure that they're all dried up, ready to go. How cute is that? Some people say, well, why bother? I mean, why don't you just let nature take its course? And to be honest, we'd love nothing more than nature to be able to take its course. But hello, we as the expansionary, us as humans, we keep getting in the way of nature being able to take its natural course. So that's where I see Salthaven as being, is that bridge between progress and nature, that where animals sometimes fall off and get into trouble, and that's where we help.
11 baby possums we got today. They were found with the mom. Unfortunately, she was hit by a car.
The mama had been hit, and one of the babies fell out, and a friend of mine had taken them off the road, and we realized she was still like writhing. They were still suckling.
So she was unable to take care of them, and of course, if they weren't brought into a rehabber, they were not going to survive. So we're here, so we took them in.
Wow, they're so little. I know, but they have fur. I was driving home up Nixon, and Mama had been hit. A friend was by the road with the mama. The babies one of them had dropped out on the road as Mama made it to the side of the road, but there was, I think we had 12 of them were in her pouch.
And
they do open their eyes and mouths as soon as they're ready.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's supposed to be 12 in here. I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So another friend came along and she helped to take them out of the pouch. They were still suckling, but they seemed to be developed enough that they have fur. A lot of them, their eyes were open, and they seemed really vital because they were wiggling and squirming, and their tails were wrapping around our fingers.
Yeah, you can hear them suckling, like gasping.
Well, possums don't suck.
No?
No, because mom's nipple's really, really long, so it just elongates down their throat and into their stomach. So it's like a tube.
Yeah.
So if you try to feed them, like regular nipple-wise, it's just going to spill out the corners of their mouth.
Okay.
So they're kind of cold, though.
Okay. So we should put them on heat?
I have a crate for them here, so.
Okay.
I've never seen that many baby possums before, let alone that small. They all have their eyes closed and they're really tiny. So when I first saw that, I was like, oh, wow, they're really cute, but big responsibility. But it'll be exciting to see how they grow over the next few weeks and all that kind of stuff.
Is it possible she missed that?
Those possums are pretty small, but they're probably about 2 months old. Possums are born, there's only a 14-day gestation period with baby possums. They're the only marsupial in all of North America, so they crawl up into mom's pouch when they're about the size of a grain of rice, and they latch onto mom, and there they stay. So these little guys are quite old, actually, even though they're quite small.
It looks like they have almost like diarrhea or something, I don't know.
I've counted 10. Are there 2 more in here?
Yeah.
Hidden?
the poor babies, of course. You know, you think that they're not going to survive like that, and animal control can dispose of the mama, but they can't do any rescue. They would have been euthanized, and that just broke our little hearts, so we couldn't have that. So I wasn't doing anything today, so I volunteered to take them out here and see what we could do.
Okay, maybe not. 1, 2, 10.
I think there's 11.
Yeah, there's probably only 11.
It appears that the babies are reasonably good shape, and we will continue to nurture them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this one's his tail.
I think their prognosis is good. Barring any injuries that we haven't seen so far, we're just they've been through a traumatic experience, so we're letting them chill for a little bit before we do a thorough triage on each of them.
Let's get them on heat, weigh them.
Okay, I can give her this stuff.
Electrolyte, paint them.
I'm really excited because I know that we're here, they're kind of in their best care, that we can take care of them and see them grow over the next few weeks. It's just exciting to get that many at one time, though it is sad the mother has passed, but it's always great to have babies and you can see them progress over the day and over the weeks and eventually release them, which is our goal. That's always the best part, seeing them be released back in the wild. So being a part of their life for so long and releasing them is one of the best parts.
I've always looked for a position, I guess, in which I could actually contribute to the environment, because I mean, if you think about it, like, humans have obviously messed up a lot. I mean, we've built structures in these animals' homes. We build big skyscrapers and birds fly into them. We pollute. We've wreaked havoc on these animals' homes. And I mean, I guess what frustrated me growing up was the fact that I couldn't do anything about it. So when I came here and even just cleaning out cages and everything, and you know, every little bit kind of contributes to the process of rehab, and then eventually when that animal is released, you had a part in it. Yeah, there's some right there.
Yeah, baby possums. These little guys have arrived as a result of a car accident. Mom got hit by a car.
Cool. Okay. So let's stimulate first. Yeah, well, you can tell they have diarrhea. Look at that.
Oh, all of them?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know.
Yeah, they need to go on antibiotics because they derive their immunity solely from mom's food. And without that, they're going to be subjected to an environment that they're likely going to get sick in. And in any environment outside of mom's environment at this point is detrimental to them.
Oh yeah, I don't know, like their pee's really dark. Yeah, so they're probably a bit dehydrated. Oh, I love their little pouches though. I can't believe they have them so young.
See, you got a female? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you can see it.
Do you have a male then?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, ooh, lots of diarrhea.
So we'll be giving them a broad-spectrum antibiotic to help keep them going that way. And we'll be tube feeding them because that's basically how mom feeds them as well. They latch on to mom and the nipple actually gets sucked right down into their stomach. The reason why that works so well for opossums because they have more teeth in their mouth than any other mammal on the North American continent. And so by trying to feed them with a normal nipple, as we do with other animals, it just leaks out and they don't do very well. We had occasion about a year ago to take in a mother possum that had been hit by a car in similar circumstances. We were taking the babies off. It was a real epiphany to us because we realized that they just sucked that right down. So we started tubing them, and now our success rate is almost 100% with possums.
The cute factor is probably one of my favorite parts about possums. I find that they're cute all the way up to adulthood. A lot of people are gonna definitely disagree with me on that, but you're biting it. Stop it. All right, let's see how you take this.
They're all in good condition, except they are pretty dehydrated, so we gave them electrolytes, and some of them do have diarrhea, so it could have been that they were suckling on the mom and she's been passed for a while, so it could have got some bacteria or anything like that in there.
So these guys only need to be medicated twice a day.
Okay.
With the clavamox, and I guess we should look into that or talk to Brian how often they're going to need to be tubed.
So right now we have them on heat, electro, and we're just gonna take it day by day, see how it goes with their health.
Possums are really unique in the environment here because they don't really belong up this far north. They're really down south, Virginia and whatnot, so they're not really well equipped for our winters. They're amazing. They have opposing thumbs just like we do. And they're one of the few animals in the animal kingdom, other than primates and humans, that have that. And they have not only opposing thumbs on their front feet, but they have them on their back feet as well. So these guys can climb just about anything. And then they have that prehensile tail to boot, like an elephant's trunk, that they can grab onto things. So they're pretty incredible all the way around. The one drawback with opossums is that they have a parasite that is lethal to horses. So horse owners just hate possums, and we have to be careful where we release them, that they're not going to be close to a horse farm or someplace like that, you know, that's going to be a problem.
Are we going to release them or maybe release them at Wanacott?
Not sure yet.
I really love opossums. They're really unique, and as Brian was talking about before, they have a prehensile tail. They have like, you know, those, like the thumbs, like the opposable thumbs, and their front feet and back feet. And I just find them to be really, really adorable. So and we don't get them that often here, so it's really exciting to have one. And when they grow up, I guess what I really like about them is that you can feed them pretty much anything.
Go.
Is that all 11?
I think so.
How much we all of them? So I think Brian said half of them are going to Carroll Park, right?
6 of them, yes. So we're only gonna have 6.
What is stressful, I guess, about this job a lot of the time is getting animals to eat. So when you get a species that tends to be a good eater, and it's always really, really awesome. And yeah, that's why I really like opossums, just because they're so hardy, and I love it.
Well, we're confident the possums are going to be just fine. They're going to be a handful, but yeah, we're prepared. We can do it. It almost sounds sacrilegious to try to explain it, but there's always been that connection with animals that allow me to be sensitive to their body language and to my own body language and how I relate to them and how they're relating to me. They speak their own language, you know, like it's volumes that they speak. But it's all very very subtle. And if you're not paying attention, you can very easily miss it. I was a Windsor kid. I grew up until I was about 13 in Windsor, went to Herman CI in Windsor, Ontario, great school. My dad moved the family to London here, and I went to Oak Ridge High School. I always had an interest in music as well, and as well as animals, and started playing with garage bands and having a lot of fun with that.
Brian is a great musician. Like, he loves it. It's part of his soul, playing the drums and singing. He was always has a beautiful voice, and I'm sorry that he doesn't sing too much anymore, but he's interested in other things now and spends his time on that.
My love of animals started when I was really young. My dad really was the instigator in that. He bought me a book, Wild Animals in North America. He read it to me. He loved animals too, and I think that's where my love really started. As time went on, I went on the road as a musician and got some experience there. teamed up with a band in London, Ontario called Lowdown. Doug Vardy and Ted Floyd and myself, and we did quite a bit of traveling with that band. We opened shows for the Beach Boys, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, Mamas and Papas, Roy Orbison, to name a few.
He always liked animals. We had a dog or a cat all our lives. And then when our children were young, it seemed like the neighborhood kids would just bring animals to Brian, and Brian would help them or fix them or something. They would live in a box in our kitchen. They would, very quickly, Brian turned the children's climber into a zoo cage for the animals to be rehabilitated in the backyard. And it just seemed to be a part of our life all the time.
While I was on the road as a musician, I had a lot of time to study and to learn about my first passion, which was animals. And after I lost my rock helmet here and decided to come home and be with family, I got interested with the wildlife side of things again. So we started working with building a wildlife rehabilitation center, and that's how Salthaven really got started.
He got his license. He wanted to be a pilot, and within the first few years of our marriage, we saved so that he could get his pilot's license. And he has loved flying and still does it now. So he takes people up, and he also does a little bit of flying for photographers who are taking pictures of farms and countryside.
My time and efforts are devoted to Salthaven in a big way. Wrestle with time and balance, but my family is important to me, and I love them dearly, and we make time for them as much as possible.
He has always been a driven person. Like, he's always been a goal setter. He wants something, he just figures out how to do it. He gets help, he researches, and he's willing to spend tons of time, lots of time on things that he loves.
These animals are an integral part of our environment. They serve as a barometer, if you will, to how things are going in the environment. And for all intents and purposes, things aren't going all that well. And so we're trying to make a little bit of a difference here. I hope that when this has all been said and done, and that people will think that I started something good and left something good behind. Early spring, Salthaven receives many calls for baby wild animals. If you find a baby animal, keep it in a quiet, dark, and warm environment. But whatever you do, don't feed them. You can be doing them more harm than good. If you find a baby wild animal that needs help, please give Salthaven a call and we'll walk you through it. I'm Brian Salt, keeping the wild in wildlife.